It's hard for people to separate the artists from the crimes. Performers like Charlie Chaplin or Elvis Presley, if you Google it, you'll find out they did some creepy, but they're amazing artists. And directors like Woody Allen, who in my mind is a pedophile, or Roman Polanski, who incidentally is about to get a Lifetime Achievement Award, even though he once had anal sex with a 13-year-old girl after giving her Quaaludes in Jack Nicholson's hot tub. I'm sure there's a crime in there somewhere. I think both these directors are horrible people, and I personally would never work for them. I would never be in their movies.
This is what I wanted to talk about in this video. The fact that whenever Roman Polanski's name is brought up, Woody Allen's is dragged into the conversation too. And it doesn't make a great deal of sense. Apart from them both being directors who have worked with Mia Farrow, there is very little to connect them. This is from the BBC Radio 4 programme Screenshot, presented by Mark Kermode and Ellen E. Jones. In this episode they're talking about the movie Chinatown, which was directed by Polanski.
Let me ask you something. I have interviewed a lot of people over the years. I have never interviewed Roman Polanski. Would you interview Polanski if you were given the chance?
I wouldn't. And the reason I wouldn't is because I think that it's my responsibility as a film journalist to not fate someone like him, to not add to the celebration of someone like him. And I make that point distinct from how I feel about his work and watching his work and talking about his work. But I think that until such time as he's actually been held accountable for his crimes, I wouldn't interview. But then I wouldn't interview Woody Allen either, perhaps for slightly different reasons. What about you? Would you interview Roman Polanski?
Well, I have interviewed Woody Allen on several occasions. I don't think I would interview Roman Polanski. I do think the two cases are completely different, incidentally. Roman Polanski, there's no doubt that what happened. In the case of Woody Allen, there is nothing but doubt.
The problem with that assertion is we also know definitively that the criminal justice system is not up to scratch when it comes to prosecuting these kinds of crimes, and that a very, very tiny percentage of them actually go to court in the first place.
No, I agree with that, but I think there is a difference between uncontested allegations that something happened and
I respect that, and I think a lot of this conversation actually is about saying having the, I don't know if it's courage or just kind of discernment to say, this is what I would do, this is where I draw the line, this is what I'm comfortable with, and it's going to be different for different people.
Of course.
So we're going to have a difference there, I suppose.
I'm not sure why you would even bring Woody Allen up in a show about the movie Chinatown, but seeing they have, I am with Mark on this, because the difference between the two cases is really quite a simple one.
I was about to make a series of photographs of young girls of that age for a French magazine called Vogue Homme, and I found it quite an interesting enterprise because I like girls of this age, and because the girls of that age for some reason like me, and just it went a little bit too far. One of those on the session with this girl, and it happened one afternoon when I was after I photographed her. The next day or the day after, I was stopped at the lobby of the hotel where I was staying in Los Angeles by a man who identified himself as Los Angeles policeman. I was then booked, and the proceedings started. After almost a year of tremendous struggle and hardship, as you can probably imagine, and you may remember of being on every page of every possible newspaper and magazine, eventually the judge who was in charge of the case decided to send me to a prison in California for so-called psychiatric evaluation. So I went to a Chino prison, and the judge told my lawyer and the district attorney that he hopes that report will be positive, and that I will get the probation.
And it was, wasn't it? You came out after 42 days with a positive.
It was very positive, and then he called it a whitewash. So he found some other provision under which he could put me back, and then decide when I will be released. And at that time, I thought there was no more point of endure it. And I just left, as you know. That there was quite a splash.
Granted that you have this interest in young girls, and it never concealed, really, the fact you have an interest in young girls, wasn't an incident like the one that happened more or less bound to happen eventually?
Well, looking back at it, it probably was bound to happen, yes.
So there you have it, from the man himself. He pled guilty and then fled to France before sentencing, and because he's a citizen, he cannot be extradited.
The father is Woody Allen, writer, director, actor. The mother is Mia Farrow, his frequent co-star, and the mother of his 3 children, 2 of them adopted. He is accused right now in the newspapers, perhaps later in a court of law, of abusing their 7-year-old adopted daughter, Dylan. Woody Allen doesn't deny having an affair with 21-year-old Soon-Yi Previn, whom Mia adopted when she was married to conductor Andre Previn. What he does deny is that last August at Farrow's Connecticut country home, in the midst of a bitter but still private custody fight, he molested 7-year-old Dylan.
A gigantic industry has been built on a total non-event. And when I say a total non-event, I mean a total non-event. It wasn't as if, I tickled my daughter or something and much has been exaggerated. I'm saying nothing at all. I mean, I went up and played with the kids, read them stories, did my usual things. We played out on the lawn and had a wonderful time with them. And out of this has grown lawyers and psychologists and district attorneys and private investigators. And I mean, I'm saying it's a multi-million-dollar industry that has sprouted up over a total non-event.
It may be a non-event to Woody Allen, but not to Mia Farrow and not to authorities in Connecticut, who are required by law to investigate every reported incident of alleged child abuse.
Woody Allen was investigated, twice. His adoptive daughter, Dylan, was examined thoroughly while under sedation, and it was determined that she had not been violated. Her testimony was rejected as a work of fiction, though it was not determined if it was of her own making or that of her mother's. The Farrow family not only maintain but repeat their side of the story to this day, despite the lack of evidence.
And on many, many occasions, over the phone and in person, Mia had said to me, "You took my daughter, and I'm going to take yours."
What did she mean by that?
She meant by it that I had formed a relationship with her 21-year-old daughter, and she was going to get my daughter, who's Dylan, I only have one daughter. That's what she meant. She was going to seek
Take her away.
Her revenge that way, yes.
Because of your affair with Soon-Yi?
Yes.
You are more than welcome to form whatever opinion you like on Woody Allen entering a relationship with his ex-girlfriend's adult adoptive daughter, Soon-Yi, but it's not a crime, and the one crime he was accused of didn't hold water, and therefore he is innocent until proven otherwise. Roman Polanski, on the other hand, is guilty.
Performers like Charlie Chaplin or Elvis Presley, if you Google it, you'll find out they did some creepy, but they're amazing artists. And directors like Woody Allen, who in my mind is a pedophile.
Having an opinion on someone being a bad person is fine, as bad is subjective. But crimes are objective. They're based on facts and evidence. They can't just happen in your mind. That's emotional thinking, and that way madness lies.
It seems as though, and it's surprising to me, Hollywood has really jumped on the bandwagon in support of Roman Polanski.
Oh. What makes me worried is, what does that mean for other 12 or 13-year-old girls that are being drugged or seduced or, offered up by their parents? I'm not saying that's what happened, but I just, I don't know what we're saying.
Roman Polanski was detained by police in relation to his outstanding arrest warrant when he visited Switzerland in 2009.
He was a fugitive. Well, now he's no longer a fugitive. He was arrested pursuant to a warrant issued by over 3 decades ago.
Polanski has lived in his native France for those past 3 decades, where authorities would not arrest him. He continued his work, garnering a Best Director Oscar for his 2002 movie, The Pianist. If brought back to the U.S. now, he may face time behind bars.
I think it's likely that he's going to spend time in prison. He won't get the maximum that he might have gotten 30 years ago, but I think he will get a significant prison time.
There were many unanswered questions about the timing of the arrest.
Why now? Obviously there's something going on somewhere, and somebody had to make a deal with someone for something, and maybe there's a little money involved. I don't know, but why now? He's been going there for 30 years. No, I'm not saying that to you. I'm asking the question in general. For 30 years he's been going there. He has a place, he has a house there.
Especially the way they did it.
Especially the way they
called him to give him a lifetime achievement. And then it was in the end it was a trap to arrest him.
And also the thing is very clearly, and he's proven this, Roman Polanski is not a predator. He's he's 75 years old, or 76. He's got 2 beautiful kids. He's got a wife that he's been with for a long, long time. He's not out in the street doing horrible things. So I'm confused by it.
Quentin Tarantino made possibly the most ham-fisted defense of Polanski on the Howard Stern show.
Hey, Quentin, how you doing, man?
Hey.
How's it going, man?
Pretty good.
Nice to meet you. What have you done to make the world a better place?
I don't know. What do you think I've done?
Cool movies.
Oh, well, I'll stand with that.
Pulp Fiction's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, were you happy when Roman Polanski won the Oscar?
Yeah, that was pretty cool, actually, yeah.
What's so great about is being the recipient of Hollywood's highest honor?
I don't consider
Right, that's the one. How can you defend? See, I don't understand this. How come Hollywood embraces this madman, this director who the 13-year-old?
He didn't the 13-year-olds. It was statutory.
Yeah, all right.
Well, that's not quite the same thing. All right?
Come on. Enough said.
It's not statutory. He had sex with a minor. All right, that's not to me. When you use the word, all right, you're talking about violent, throwing them down. It's like one of the most violent crimes in the world. You can't throwing the word around is like throwing the word racist around. All right, it just doesn't apply to everything that people use it for. All right, he was guilty of having sex with a minor. All right,
that she didn't want to have.
No, that was not the case at all. She wanted to have it.
Well,
and dated the guy, and
she was 13
and found out. Well, by the way, we're talking about America's morals. We're not talking about the morals in Europe and everything. All right.
Wait a second.
Morals in Europe,
sex
morals in China.
With a 13-year-old girl, and you're a grown man. You know that's wrong because she has
giving her booze and pills.
I'm not. Look, she was down with it.
Oh, you're crazy.
And she's talked about it. She's talked about it.
Oh,
now she's an adult.
So crazy.
I'm right. She's talked about it since. He didn't really do anything to me, though. It was a technicality of her being 13.
But would you ever seduce a 13-year-old with pills and booze?
No.
You wouldn't.
Again, you're killing him with the pills and booze thing.
Why? But it's true.
But there's no more than if she was 18 or 19 or 20.
People have been saying what he said and worse since I was 13.
Jezebel was tipped off to the Howard Stern audio by a reader.
I think what surprised me was just how cavalier Tarantino was being. And I think we definitely see the hypocrisy in this apologia that's happening now.
Geimer says she's heartened that more people are listening to victims in the wake of the Me Too movement.
I think Me Too is a good thing where we could have solidarity for each other. The shoe's a bit on the other foot now where I'm shown sympathy and Roman's the monster.
Polanski fled to France in the late 1970s. His lawyer tells CBS News Polanski regrets his actions and has apologized to Geimer, and he believes Tarantino's comments represent a misunderstanding of Polanski's conduct.
Quentin Tarantino would later walk back his comments, saying that he was trying to be outrageous on a show whose host was at the height of his shock jock period.
Holy shit. No, that was Polanski. That was Roman Polanski. He's lived there for a month now. First time I seen him.
Tarantino would later make a movie called Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, in which Polanski would be a supporting character, set before the events which would cause him to flee America.
It's lovely to see you, but it's a very difficult thing to talk about. And it's interesting that you have decided to forgive the man responsible for what happened to you when you were 13 years old. Why have you decided to do that?
Well, I forgave him many, many years ago. almost immediately after it had happened. So I think forgiveness doesn't come hard to me. And I was having so much other trouble in life due to the court and the media that really overtook and overwhelmed my whole family.
This is Samantha Geimer, who I would describe as Polanski's victim, though I don't think that's how she would describe herself.
He came back to America and served 42 days in prison and was released and was supposed to be sentenced to time served. But we had a very corrupt judge who was interested only in his own celebrity. So after being lied to several times and threatened with 50 years in jail on a promise of I'll let you out a few weeks later, he went home to France. And I'm glad he did. And I think, anybody would have done the same in his situation. And as for his work and his art and Hollywood and their appreciation of it, I don't really think that has anything to do with me. So I don't have any grudges or bad feelings that his work is appreciated.
Despite the modern media's insistence that she damns the name of Polanski, she never does.
Things were much different in the 70s, and I don't think I thought it was as much of a big deal as everybody else did. And what I'd like to see done is the misconduct in my case investigated so we can show that the judge lied, show that Roman served his sentence, and that tried to do the right thing. He apologized, he confessed, he served his time. And even in the intro, you said it was at a party. It was on a photo shoot. There's just so much misinformation, which is why I wrote my book, The Girl, trying to tell the truth of the story from my perspective.
I add this information here not to defend Polanski, but to add context that is often not discussed. I do not condone or excuse Roman Polanski's actions. And if knowing this information stops you from enjoying his films, then, well, so be it. But I hope you can see that comparing these events, which have been proved, to Woody Allen's case, which has not, is a false equivalency. And the more that people lump these two together, the more the disinformation grows.
There's definitely people that are bored with Hollywood, though. Like, enough.
Well, Hollywood's overreach. I think Hollywood tends to be... What bothers me about Hollywood is their virtue signaling. Like, they're going to set an example, you fucking guys. Like, you want to be liked, okay? And you're as fickle as it gets. They were the same people that were standing up and clapping for Roman Polanski.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man.
Well, some of them were.
Yeah.
Some of them were really saying some ridiculous shit.
I mean,
like
come on, guys.
It's a long time ago. And
he drugged and sodomized a 13-year-old.
I think he fucked more than one, too.
Yeah. So guess what?
Yeah.
I can't have that guy. You're not getting... They wanted to sign a petition and bring him back in the country. I can't forgive that.
No.
Stay in France.
If your reaction to this video is outrage, then you may very well have a crony belief. If the presentation of facts which counter your narrative causes you to have a meltdown, then what you believe you don't believe because of facts. It just feels right. I've had people blow up at me before because of my defence of Woody Allen, but this is not a conspiracy theory, it's a matter of public record. The conspiracy theory is he did it, which is not what the investigations found, and lumping him in with Roman Polanski is guilt by association.
Over on Manhattan's east side, where Woody Allen and Mia met, the owner of Elaine says Mia Farrow should not be so upset.
What do you think about the relationship with Mia's adopted daughter?
Well, it's just like what Mia did with Sinatra. It's the same thing, the same age difference. Whatever makes everybody happy, let everybody enjoy themselves.
If you can still enjoy Roman Polanski's films while knowing his crimes, then please let me recommend Chinatown and Rosemary's Baby. If you can't bring yourself to watch them, may I recommend Woody Allen. This has been a little bit more serious than my other videos, but innocent until proven guilty is something of a hobby horse for me. If you value my work, then you can buy me a coffee at Ko-Fi. If you hate my work, then why are you still here? We're 19 minutes in. I'm Scott Kingsnorth, and I'm making a movie.